your channel.
You're on my channel or I'm on your channel? I'm on your channel.
We're all on each other's channel.
This is Thomas, the famous Thomas Slaughter. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. This is Rick Nethery. I'll leave a link in the description below. They're both Marines. I am not. But we want to hear some stories, so I'm going to let them tell us some stories.
What was the one I was telling you guys and you're like, oh, let's do this on camera?
About the MRAP?
With the Humvee like catching on fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just pulled out of the wire and we made it right, and that's when it started like smoking out of the engine, right? And then we all get out of the car and we all jumped out. I jumped out of the turret because I was the turret gunner, and we just watched that thing smoke up. It never caught fire though, but we were waiting for it to start doing that, right? But what was I told you I was putting the radio in that car, that video or whatever. We were gonna change after that, and then they decided.
Sorry, we're under a tornado warning.
They tell us like every 5 minutes.
We're taking a break from the range to.
Except for Redneck Hat, he's out there right now practicing his skills.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Dang, what was the one I was telling you guys before when you guys stopped me right here?
Let's see. There was
We went to the MRAP. We talked
There was a
about
Humvee catching on
But that's like that's the boring stuff.
Right.
What was after that?
And then the A-10 attack, that was cool. And,
Yeah, that day, that was a long day.
Have you ever seen one of them ropes that they shoot out?
And ropes?
Them rope depth core?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
From ship to ship.
I got videos of that.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! You gotta share that.
Yeah, and it's a tank that it'll shoot out the ones that are backpacks that you can carry on your back. You set it on the ground, it shoots out the grenades,
Oh,
a string of grenades, and it blows up the ground. That's what they use to clear the mines.
Yeah.
But the bigger one's on a tank, and it shoots out a huge thing's like got to be 6 feet long, and the pipe's like that big around, but it shoots off like a rocket, and it drags a bunch of explosives behind it, and it just lays down in like a tree line. That's what we used to use to blow the tree line open to open up a road, so we don't get, because they were planting IEDs all up in the tree line.
You were talking about your buddy that traded shift where you got hit with a shrapnel.
Oh yeah. So I was sitting in this area. We took over a bunch of various buildings, and we named each PB patrol base along that route. We call it Route Conan. And I was sitting in front of this little tiny PB, and then they wanted to move me back on the road to watch a different area. So they moved his truck up to that point. Then around a few hours later, this dude popped out of the corn stalks and shot the RPG in the back. The back doors, they opened like this, and he hit right. I think they hit right in the center, and then the shrapnel went through and it hit Korbalkov in the back right here because he was facing forward, and it hit him in the back and it got all in his kidney. All the shrapnel got in his kidney. They had to get him out of there. He spent time in Germany to recover from that. We came home and he was in sweatpants and he had a little shit bag right here. A little poop bag.
Colostomy bag.
Yeah, and he was like giving us hugs and stuff. It was good to see that he was back. But that was that guy that I even said it on the video that I posted on Instagram. I was like, oh, this guy got hit. And he's like, what's up, dog? You know, he said that. But, yeah, him and then Trexler. Trexler got hit on the arm. But we were all just sitting around listening to the radio and all the radio conversation going on, and you don't really know what's going on until they start calling it up and going, oh, we have casualties, but there's no serious injuries and all that stuff. So it was kind of relieving to hear that. But I was like, damn, dude, I can't believe that we were just right there, and then they traded out with us, and then they decided to attack. But
what's the coolest thing you saw over there?
The coolest thing? I mean, you gotta give it up for the A-10 gun runs, but what was really cool is watching the J-dams come in and just blowing up shit. It's blowing up stuff. It's like cool stuff. Yeah, we've dropped quite a few of those. You know what? Screw all the explosions. There was this one dude, and we thought he was trying to spot us and radio up. He looked like he was radioing up to guys. He probably was, more than likely. But we got a, I forgot what they call it. They call it a flyby, right? I think. But we had him come in, and he just dove in, and then took back off and scared the hell out of me from where I was. We were really far from the guy, and I was like, I can only imagine the plane coming in and swooping back up right above you. But the guy took off after that. He walked off the mountain all nonchalant, and I guarantee you, he crapped his pants for sure.
I do have one question. Why the tattoos on the left arm and you're left-handed?
That's why.
I thought they put them on the left. The right-handed guys had them on the left arm so you could see them when you're shooting.
Me? I don't know. I just naturally told him to put it on there. Maybe it's because that's
I
my
figured
dominant
you were
hand.
left-handed. I figured you'd put it on the opposite side.
Well, I'm gonna start putting ones on this side too. I just haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
Tattoos are expensive, man. Guns are expensive. I got a lot of expensive hobbies.
I never got one. They tried. They took me to the tattoo parlor. My buddies all got a tattoo, and at the time I don't want one.
Your body's a temple.
Yeah, so they just kept, bask in the ambiance. I never got one.
You were perfect as you came.
Yeah, well, I'm as screwed up as I can. Ain't no worse. But those are cool. That's actually a World War II Pacific theme. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. I got the St. Michael, the Archangel, all the way up the top, though.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Rick, what's the coolest thing you saw in the military?
I don't know. My service, it wasn't quite as exciting as his. Like the only enemy that I ever had in my sights was running away, and we were hollered at. Don't fire. Don't fire. And we had a mortar attack. They tried to get us with a mortar, but
From a tactical Toyota?
From a tactical Toyota, a little pickup, and a sniper, took them out. They never charged in on us or anything, but I was in a artilleryman, and this was 94 in Somalia. And when I was there, we were actually there to, the UN was pulling out. We kind of went in and just, performed security. So it wasn't that, wasn't that exciting, but it was scary, but it was early and it was building up. At that time it was right after the first Gulf War, and then we had Somalia, and then shortly after we went into Haiti, and then it was I'd already gotten out of the Marines, and a few years after that, that's when the Trade Center got bombed, and then these guys, they went in. They went in first to Iraq, and then he went to Afghanistan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Everything's all done and said once I got to Iraq, though.
I don't know.
There was nothing going on. They killed everybody that was really trying to start stuff.
So that Mark 19 was that right? Am I saying it
Yeah,
right?
Mark 19.
You're saying it's a
Those are
grenade?
Yeah, it's a
It's
grenade
a
launcher,
grenade.
grenade machine gun.
It's an automatic.
So it's like
grenade
okay, it's
Yeah.
RPG or not RPG? It's a.
It's got 40 mic, the link of 40 mic, and it just goes just like a
How
machine
far
gun.
do they go? Do they
Just as far as-
lobbing them?
Yeah, you're shooting them almost like a mortar almost, and they're falling on the target. But like any other round, just goes straight, but it does dive down like because it's not like a bullet. But bullets do
Right.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Not as much.
Yeah. These I've heard only stories that you can put them up in the air like a mortar too, and you could shoot them. So if they're behind cover,
Right.
you could totally rain down on them like mortar tubes and stuff. But I really want to say something about it's called a table saw, but you're not supposed to use it as a table.
Yeah,
I know that, right?
That's my
Yeah.
kind of experience.
Where he builds whole
Table saw.
Yeah. No, my son's a Marine, and this weekend, we'd wanted to bring him, but he wasn't able. But I hope one day that he'll get to meet Thomas. He's already been down here with all the other guys. We have a good time. We've been shooting our rifles, and despite the weather, and then we plan to go watch a mud bog, and we just watched them crank up a big dragster, like a redneck dragster. It was wicked, but we all just came together this weekend just for brotherhood, just to have a good time, get outdoors, and it's been nice.
He's from San Francisco, but he's not queer.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm joking.
That's semi-true.
Semi-true.
Not the queer part.
It's an honor to have you with us.
Yeah, this is
Did
cool.
y'all have a sniper in y'all's team?
So what they do is they're their own entity. They're their own platoon, but they'll take a couple of guys and they'll put them in each platoon. So you'll get guys that are just like me. Like I was a machine gunner. We're a weapons platoon, and then they'll attach you to each squad. So they'll get like a squad of machine gunners attached to a whole platoon, and you could get each squad to have a couple of machine gunners in it.
See, that was like us, it's field artillery, that each howitzer section was also a fire team, in the event that, say you got overrun. So we did some patrols around our perimeter, and at the time I carried the M249 squad automatic weapon. I carried that most of the time I went through, but
They always give it to the new guys.
Oh yeah. So as I understand, that's been phased out. They got replaced it.
Oh, the saw?
Yeah, yes they got it.
As far as I know, it was there when I was in, but they were trying to phase it out when I was getting out, and it was like an HK full auto AR. Really nice. I've only seen it once fired, but I would say that's probably a dumb idea. I think the saw is probably, they jam a lot. They do jam a lot for sure.
Yeah. But they were, you got to think, probably the same saw that I used, it was new at the time that I had it, and it's probably worn out, by the time they've got it. And the Marines, they don't just replace stuff like the Army. They use it up until it's gone. So
until it kills somebody.
Yeah. So their saw was probably
blows up somebody's face.
Shooting our old wore out stuff.
And they can't, as far as I know, they can't. Each barrel is serialized to that weapon, so you can't just take another. They're all the headspace and timing and everything is all set to that machine gun. I'm not sure if you could get new barrels for it and trade it out. That would probably the components are really the only thing that you would probably have to change out in a machine gun.
I had 2 barrels.
Yeah, they usually come with 2 barrels so you can switch them out because you're not supposed to keep going as long as if you're continuously in a firefight and you're shooting beyond 200 rounds. You're definitely going to want to trade the barrel out every 200 rounds to keep the barrels cool. Because if you just continuously keep firing, it's going to start going cherry red. And then your barrel will just start to slowly droop down. Then you probably won't be shooting through the barrel anymore. It'll be going through the barrel.
How was hitting the IEDs?
Not fun.
Did it throw you around?
Oh yeah, dude. It was like it's like a good smack in the head from your dad. You know what I mean? Like boom. It's like just like if you could feel the wave, it's just like being right up on it. Like you can feel the shock wave. Yeah, it's a little crazy, but nothing like too scary. Especially when you're like in all that armor, you're like you just feel invincible, But
we had a porta-john that got locked down. In our position in Somalia, there was a Somali guy. He come in, he stayed in the porta-john too long, and then everybody was scared to death of that porta-john. And so they had us all get back, and then they called in ordnance. And then they came in, they had the suits and everything, and they went and they inspected the porta-john, and then the guy come out and he said, "No, it ain't nothing but shit in there."
You know what I was thinking when you said that? They locked it, because I was thinking a different reason, honestly. Maybe too many Marines are going in there and jerking off.
Might be.
They're like, gotta keep these fuckers out of there.
Yeah. But no, this was
What's
a
the
Somali
funniest
guy.
thing you did? Because he shared a funny story. So
Man, I really had to think.
I got a funnier one than that. We went up while he's thinking. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Okay, the Army had a compound. Like we were out there on the Horn of Africa, and the Army had a compound up there, and that's where all the logistics were. The supplies came in, and we would, like in the evenings, we'd get in our 5-ton trucks and we'd run over there and we'd have a hot meal, And there were a couple of soldiers, Army soldiers up there, and I got to kind of know them, and I'd visit with them when we went up there. And one of the guys, he said, "Hey Rick," he said, "Come here, man." He said, "You got to hear this." I said, "What?" He said, "Yesterday," he said, "we were at our post, and they said a man walked up out of the desert, a Somali man. He said he was unarmed, he didn't have any weapons, and we couldn't let him in. He kept trying to get in. They said, 'No, you can't come in.' You got to tell him in his language. He kept trying to come in. He wouldn't speak any English. And then they looked at each other. They said, 'Well, he's not armed. We can't kill him. said, we can't let him in here. The guy said, okay, I got an idea. He grabbed a can of pepper spray and he picked it up like, And they said, the man backed up and he said, I am not an insect. I am not an insect. And then he turned around and walked off.
Thought it was bug spray?
Yeah, he thought it was bug spray.
He was gonna find out. I was gonna say that doesn't guns speak all languages?
Oh, yeah.
You just pointed right at him.
Yeah, but they tried the rules of engagement. You know, we couldn't fire unless we're fired upon, and like the time that I saw the enemy, I could clearly, that is the enemy. It's when we were coming in, and it was supposedly to be an ambush, but I guess there were so many of us and those trucks. And when we bailed out and we got on our weapons, I saw one of them running away, and I was ready to fire off, and then they started yelling down the line, don't fire, you know, because they were retreating. You know, we would have ended up, you know, probably in prison. So we never fired. You know, that was it. That's the only time I ever saw an enemy, you know, that I knew of. We were probably all amongst the enemy. We didn't know it. They didn't wear uniforms, you know, like back when they had honor. You know, now they'll dress up like a goat herder, and you know they'll slip in there and attack you at night.
You know, now that you say that, I've gotten shot at like 9 times before I actually finally start firing back at a separate firefight.
Yeah.
9 separate firefights, and then finally we're like, all right, this is it, and we just started shooting. Yeah,
but you probably never.
You really do think about what you're doing, and you really want to see the enemy before you start shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the times, you don't ever see them because they're always hiding.
But see, like your enemies now, they don't wear, like when these men fought World War II. You know, they were fighting a uniformed enemy. Now they're dressed like a sheep herder. They don't, you know, you can't tell.
Yeah.
You know, all it is like a guy in normal clothes with an AK.
Yeah.
You know, he ditches the AK. He blends in with everybody else.
Yeah.
That's it.
And full autos are free over there, huh?
Oh yeah, life is cheap.
Yeah.
I remember the guys were fishing. You know, they made fishing wire in the other compound and the guys had been catching fish. There wasn't much going on. It was pretty cakewalk. And one day they drug up a dead human body with the fishing hook, and they said, "Okay, boys, that's it for the fishing. The fishing's over." You know, they just over there, life didn't mean anything, you know, to them. And it was disease infested.
Oh, you know what? I got one now. Now that he's talking about that, talking about fish, because I used to take, you know how the Gatorade bottles, it's like big on the top? So I used to pee in Gatorade bottles when I was sitting in the turret, because you can't get out and take a piss. You gotta sit there and be on the gun the whole time. And I used to have them sitting up there, and at the end of the patrol, I'll go and throw them away and whatnot. And one time the turret goes in like this in the front, and then the gun's like mounted to the top. And there's like a little hole right there, like where they comes together. It's like open on the bottom. And we were taking a corner when the kids were chasing me, and they're asking for candy, mister, right? And the bottle was sitting there, and we were taking a corner, and it just like, and it just slid out. And then I just see it, boom, and it hits the ground, right? And I was like, oh shit. And I get up to look, and I just see the kid run up to it. He thought it was candy, right? And he picks it up and he goes, oh! And he knew, he was like, they all started running, yeah.
I thought you said he was going to drink it.
Yeah, he thought it was like something of value or something, whatever it is.
I tell you, okay, this is not a bottle. In a barracks. This wasn't in any overseas service here, but we were all in a barracks, you know, together, you know, in my unit. And each man could have some beer, you know, and we'd all keep a little beer in the fridge.
Speaking of beer.
Yeah. You think of beer?
Yeah, not in the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
The fridge, not the toolbox.
Not the toolbox.
Right there in the door.
All right, there you go. Here's your beer. You got a beer assistant like Gas Monkey Garage. No, each man was allowed to have a small quantity of beer, and we had a couple of fridges in the squad bank, and we were doing a squad bank.
Yeah.
So our beer started coming up short.
You when you're in the fleet?
Yeah, in the fleet.
Wow.
Yeah, we could have beer. Y'all couldn't have beer?
That was back in the 40s. That was back in the 40s.
I had it was like a hotel. It was like, we call it the Marriott because it was so nice, and you had a little key card and everything to get in your door.
Yeah.
Two men to a room.
No, we had a squad bank.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, well, I'm old. But
yeah.
Anyhow,
we're the millennials. They've treated really good.
Well,
so.
we get later. We got rooms, but at this point in time, we're in a big squad bay, and they got some fridges, and each man can have some beer. You know, you can have a beer. So we noticed that we were going through a lot of beer, but we weren't ever getting a buzz or anything out of it. And we put two and two together, and we figured out there was a beer thief amongst us. So we devised a plan, and we got a big 2 liter or big liter of Budweiser, or a 40 ounce, and then we all passed it around once drinking. And then we passed it back around, filling it back up, and then we put it back together and sealed it up, and we put it back in the fridge. And we waited. In the middle of the night, we heard somebody start gagging and cussing and threw a fit, and that ended the beer raid. That was it.
A buddy of mine did the same thing.
Yeah.
He owned a beer store. And he filled a 6-pack up with piss and put the lids back on it and iced them down. He had a 6-pack in his cooler every time for the ride home.
It stopped him. He didn't want to buy. He's making the same money as we are, but he didn't want to buy his own beer.
We used to go see the mayor.
Here,
I had
we're
it.
still rolling.
My
It
CEO, we escorted him around. We went to the mayor and to see the police chiefs at all these different police departments right in Iraq. And there was this one that we had to go to that was over a bridge, and it was a bridge that we made that it went across the Euphrates, right? And we used to go back through. I used to take my piss bottles and throw them in the Euphrates because they just throw dead bodies in there anyway.
Yeah.
Is that the disposal pit?
I remember putting diesel in the 50-gallon drums. I'm sure other guys would say they remember that. And you light it on fire and you have to stir the shit
Yeah.
with a stick.
I've actually never seen that. I mean, I've seen that. I saw that in a movie, but like when we went, like most places, we had no,
You know what a wag?
Well, we moved around a lot.
Yeah.
But when we were in that fortified position in Somalia, they actually came in and they put porta-john, in our position.
Oh.
The Army hooked us up. They came over, and we didn't have nothing in there. We're working our butts off, filling up these sandbags and making all this. And they come over and they looked. They said, "Man, you devil dog, y'all ain't got shit." They're looking at us, and so they left. And we thought, yeah, those are some arrogant guys. And then they come back, and they had tents, they had a generator, they had all kinds of stuff, and they hooked
So
us
you
up.
can charge your cell phone?
Yeah, well, we didn't have cell phones back then. Weren't no cell phones back then, but they hooked us up. We built like a little tent city, and we had 3 howitzers. We had 6 howitzers total, 3 on each side of Mogadishu, but we had built sandbag bunkered. We had a 60 pit. It was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
But they had a porta-john in our position, or they had a few of them.
You guys never use wag bags. You don't know what that is, right?
Never.
So wag bag is we didn't use those until I went to Afghanistan, and it's like a bag that comes like a little thing of kitty litter.
Oh man.
And you put it in the bag, and you take a shit and piss in the bag, and then you put it in another bag. It comes with a little thing of toilet paper, but obviously you need more than that, so we had rolls.
Yeah.
You take that and you throw it in the fire pit, and then we burn the fire pit later. That's how we got rid of trash. We had a burn pit. We just burned the trash.
What did you video with over there?
My buddy had a little Sony camera, kind of like yours, where it could flip out. And when I was in Iraq, I had a little tiny, like one that you're supposed to use for pictures.
Yeah.
And it was like a little square Sony camera.
Yeah.
And that's why the video quality is not so great on those videos anymore, because it's so old.
So did you save SD cards? I mean,
So it was a really nice setup when I got to Iraq. We had PXs. They were able to charge debit card. The transactions go through, and they had a satellite dish set up so it does all that, and it hooks it all up. I think when I was in Iraq, if I remember, when they used to bring a truck, a PX truck, and it has a Connex box on it.
For the people who don't speak Marine,
PX is the
Post exchange.
post exchange, and you go to it's like a 7-Eleven basically, and they used to bring the goods in a Connex box. It would be set up with the shelves in there and all nice and everything. And the guy, he had disbursement where he could disperse money, and he just puts your card down, your name and all that, with your social, and he charges your accounts later. But he'll disperse you money. You just go up to him and say, "I want like $60." He'll put you down for $60 on paper and everything. That's how they used to do it when I was to get you to the store.
They
Yeah.
call that a chip. Yeah, we call it money. Like a paper money instead of money would be a chit.
Yeah.
You know, and some we've even had those where they look like like a movie ticket, like a little movie ticket, and it was in a denomination like 5, 10, 20.
The one that the big purchases were dip, smokes,
Yeah.
and protein powder and creatine and all that other stuff.
I got an autograph. My wife says she's gonna get back. I got an autograph picture from Hank Williams Jr. sent to me in Somalia.
Oh wow.
So you were in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Yeah, I was in both.
What company were you in?
I was
You
in
don't mind saying?
Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. Next question.
Next question.
I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to hear it.
I'm glad you made it.
I'm glad you don't mind talking about it.
Yeah.
Station out in 29 Palms.
I'm glad you got a divorce and you're feeling better.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
relationships are hard.
He's single. He's on
This man's
shootersonly.com.
available.
Shooters only.
Shootersonly.com.
Shooters match.
Yeah.
Shootersonly.com. He's on there.
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. I guess it's getting about time for the mud ball. Hey, brother.
Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram. I'll leave links below.
Check me out in general.
And a lot of
Just
stuff.
check him out. Look at all that man meat right there.
All 500 pounds.
Oh, I'd go for 75.
I'm 270.
Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. It was a real honor to spend this time with Thomas and also with Les and Cuz this weekend. But I just wanted to share this footage. It was kind of nice. Thomas has been through a lot, and he's a great guy. I wanted y'all to see this, so I know it's a long video, but thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a happy Easter weekend. God bless each and every one of you.